We got the hottest mix, dude.
I've never heard that. We never heard that one before.
I haven't. It's better than just like blind. Just the blind techno.
All right, anyways, we're back. Paladins. That's what we're here for. Paladins Esports. You and me, Rain Day, Hi-Rez Pretty Hair. We're looking to get into the action. We got the second semifinal coming up for you in just a moment. It's going to be between District69 and Interlopers. We had the pleasure of casting Interlopers earlier this week when we were casting ESL with our boy Vox Tempest, who's going to say something in chat right now. And then we, of course, had obviously the opportunity to have eyes on District69 throughout the entire last year. One of the best teams in Europe, one of the finalists of the Paladins, the finalists of the Paladins Invitational, faced off against PERDO. Unfortunately, lost that Game 7. Best-of-7 set, and now looking to get their way back to get a chance at revenge.
So bugzy coming back into the fold, I think, is the big storyline here. Is there an interesting dynamic happening, you know, in the team's communication, in their mental state? Because somebody had to step up and lead during HRX.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an awkward thing if they have to step back down now and let bugzy come back in. And if things don't go well or Unbelievable being gone, that's, you know, going to throw a wrench into the team chemistry. How does District69 come off of this loss? Are they, you know, are they feeling strong? Are they letting their foot off the gas? You know, Burrito answering that question in a big way here. But Interlopers having, I think their biggest name is probably going to be Crowed. He was the sub, one of the subs for Burrito. In HRX, didn't play, but he was there. He's a very well-renowned hit scan champion player. Yeah,
you're right. And as we take a look at the maps that these teams will be playing on, we see Stonekeep actually will be the first map selected. Very interesting. Timbermill and Ice Mines banned out again for good reason. A lot of these teams waiting for maybe a potential redux of Ice Mines, and Timbermill just not something that EU is favoring at the moment. Bro. And then Stonekeep now being favored 2 times in a row for us. We're giving a gift.
What a treat.
Yeah, what a treat. But you mentioned bugzy not being there at the Paladins Invitational Final. I think that's really important. You know, you miss a normal carry and you miss stats when you go in there. You miss kills, right? But when you miss a captain, you miss a leader. You miss synergy. And you miss, I think, direction. And I think that is what ultimately drives a championship team. I think that's where D69 are feeling so confident now going into this. They've cleaned up the bracket thus far. They're looking to not drop any games against Interlopers. I think they want to have, if not as equally a stunning performance, even more impressive performance than Burrito just did against the counterparts over on the semifinal side. So look for D69 to come out swinging.
Because it sends a message, right? If Burrito has these flawless 9-10-minute victories and just completely obliterating their semifinal opponents. And then District69, if they struggle, if they drop a game or even some points even, you know, it's going to say a lot. We'll have to head into the champion draft, see what happens on Stonekeep. I don't think we'll see the double healer, triple tank this time.
And if you are looking at these drafts and kind of wondering, where are some of your favorite champions, you know, it's really a result of the meta. And the meta adjusts based on, I think, actually the type of sea that's next to, you know, basically the continent that these players are playing on. Europe plays very differently and favors very different champions than North America. You're not seeing any Torvald here. You're not seeing, obviously, any Sky here. North America loves Sky. No, I'm kidding. But really, you may see different champions, you know, here. But obviously, Makoa really being favored by D69 now as well. Yeah,
pretty much the uncontested first pick. The difference here for Interlopers is that they are going to take that Shaolin away. And potentially give up the Maldamba here. The Drogos going to be locked in. Drogos is the big swing factor because he's the we didn't see him at HRX, you know, for whatever reason. And I talked to some of the Drogos players there, and they said it was because of ping, because they're not used to playing Drogos on ping. So it's weird for them to actually try and play him on no ping or low ping environments. And so that was, I think, the reason that we didn't see him so much. But he is still such an impactful character that we are going to be seeing a lot in these online stages. And how teams kind of utilize that pick, I think, is going to be very crucial, especially because Double Tank had such a presence at HRX, and Drogos is so good against Double Tank.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things about that last set that we saw, too, is that no Androxus was selected at all. We didn't see Androxus in any of those games, and now Androxus finally picked up on Stonekeep, which you mentioned. He could do pretty well getting to that vertical, you know, kind of third tier of that map and really pressuring out some of the damage dealers who like to perk up there.
Buck locked in for D69. No Eevee yet. District69 have one of the best Eevee players in the world, but will not be going for that this time. Going to be having that double frontliner on the line. That's the composition that they're used to playing.
This is a good
from
comp.
HRX, yeah.
I'm
not mad at it.
I like it. It's a good comp. They've got their range. They've got the ability to pressure deep in the flanks. You saw in Stonekeep not having the ability to kind of get to some of those targets really hurt, Skitlight and being able to pressure Burrito. And now I actually kind of like both of these compositions. They both can do different things. They both got a lot of damage and pressure, some frontline presence as well. It's going to be a good one. It's
going to be absolutely coming down to execution here. District69 will have Shipa on Ruckus, eLvenpath. Not on Buck. He'll be on Makoa, gerrah on Maldamba, bugzy on Drogos, and PERDO on Buck.
And creatives will be for the Interlopers on Androxus. Unbelievable. Who was the sub for D69 at the Paladins Invitational. Now playing against that team in his new squad. Will be on Fernando. Strutzul will be on Ying. Making me hungry, Strutzul. Skillganon will be on Cassie, and spunkki on Shaolin, the former Burrito GG player who has now found a new team here. So a lot of history between these players.
spunkki's Shaolin was actually very impressive from what I saw of it in ESL. eLvenpath going to have Master Riding, notably. Just a couple of cauterizes sprinkled in with some Havens here. Pretty standard items as both teams start to collide here around the point. Kind of 3-2 splits for both of them going left and right.
Bugzy loves him some Drogos. He's been a Drogos main since the very beginning. Gets a little bit of damage now, and that's a huge first blood. Coming out from Bugzy, looking to find one more. Could the snowball be real? Cassie has eyes on him, but Maldamba is keeping her at bay for the moment. Yet Cassie will go up to the upper rafters and allow Bugzy a little bit of respite so he can heal back up and get himself in this fight. 39% and counting on D69, and they will be looking to push Interlopers back now as they look to regroup.
PERDO taking down spunkki's Shaolin there, so I'm not sure if that was a 1v1. We didn't get to see it, but winning that matchup nonetheless is going to be huge. Another big pick onto skillganon, so Interlopers already down a man, just trying to make their way back to the point here. Planet doesn't look like it's available. spunkki's going to go down again. PERDO able to get around the corner and stay alive as District69 do capture the first payload of this game.
You know, the distinct signature of a very good Buck is knowing that exact jump distance to be able to aggress onto the back line and where to be to just be able to aggress back behind a corner. That jump was so perfect. Any more visible, and he would have died to Androxus, but he goes right around, and there it is. He does fall eventually, but after he's done so much for his team and built up such a front line that now everyone can move forward with basically already half health enemies that are trying to protect this payload.
gerrah under pressure right now, is narrowly able to escape. spunkki is deep, trying to find gerrah. Will take down bugzy before going down to Shipa, but trading out kill for kill right now are both of these teams. PERDO caught out without a jump. He will fall. Shipa just forced back from the disengage right now on a stabilization play coming out from Interlopers.
Very different, too, from what we've seen in card selection as well. You know, skillganon in this type of a squad on Burrito, I think they would have gone heavily into either cauterize or into Wrecker to be able to deal with the shields, to deal with some type of presence, except, you know, Cassie now, skillganon going for the Haven, maybe looking to survive in some of these duels that she knows Buck, maybe Androxus are going to be, Buck might be looking for against her. And there is the Dread Serpent. It looks like it comes out. Unbelievable will go down. And gerrah and bugzy look to continue pushing this. 5 members of D69 strong and 3 down on the side of Interlopers. Can they stop it?
A lot of mitigation coming out. Hexafire is available. Both charges of advance. Still 4 ultimates on the board here for District69. No one's coming out to answer just yet, but there is the call to action from Unbelievable. Up in the skies right now is Creative, but they take down Unbelievable so quickly. 4 members, 5 members, the complete just last second sweep there from District69 to take a couple credits back to spawn with them, leading to, absolute dominant little team fight there at the end, just punching through. Fernando's the only frontliner there, and he's going down pretty quickly in these fights. Only going to fall faster and faster as these cauterizers and wreckers come online for D69.
I mean, you look at these credits, right? Shipa's spent 900 credits already, and he's got 500 in hand. Creatives has spent 600 credits only, and he's got 185 in hand. The fact that they're able to get these extra credits off of capturing the objective is a huge deal because it puts them in this kind of mid-game slippery slope that they could really take advantage of against Team Interlopers. So there's going to be a tall task ahead of them if they want to find themselves back in this game. 2-0 again for the European Juggernauts.
Moving out now, Hexafire still available. That emitter shield going down very quickly, and they don't follow through on the kill and Shipa. They get him so low, but don't take him down, and that's kind of what happened to Skitlight in the previous set against Burrito. You have to convert on all of these kills, and now a little bit fractured it would seem. Interlopers just running around, giving up kills, trickling down. Unbelievable fall. Spunkki and strutzul all fall as well. 60% already on the capture point for District69, looking to go up 3-0.
Gerrah trying to throw the snake of destiny over the top flanks of the boughs of the trees, and unfortunately not connecting yet, but if he continues to throw those, he will hit one. What he's doing is spacing, though, and that's an important great jump and look back to be able to fight continuously. PERDO normally seen on the Androxus, and D69 will capture this next objective with 2 minutes 18 seconds left on the clock. All they got to do is push this one in, seal the deal, and take game one.
Gerrah keeping everyone topped off. Gord onto the high ground. Can actually get some valuable scouting information based on the damage being done. You can see how many players are in that room without ever having to step a foot inside of it. Creative is moving around the back for a flank right now. And even if he doesn't get a kill in this situation, he's pulling fire off of the front, buying a lot of distraction. bugzy's completely distraction. Gerrah's not healing his frontliners. PERDO goes down. Overall, a nice play from Gerrah, from Creative, to try and shift the focus off of the front line.
It's good. It's buying them some time, right? It's not going to win the fight. In fact, it could come back to haunt them. They need to capitalize on it now because this is when D69 are low. This is when they're vulnerable. If they commit too much, though, they could lose a lot, and they do. They lose their front line. bugzy, Unbelievable, taken down by bugzy, and now what will happen? strutzul forced with almost an impossible task of keeping his 3 damage dealers alive with the incredible pressure that is being applied by D69, and there PERDO slays Creatives. Once again, bugzy finds skillganon, and man, oh man, Interlopers are crumbling with the Dread Serpent, about to make them have some more pain.
That damage output, not enough to take down Unbelievable. Immortal will save them for a small amount of time, but they both go down in the end. Hexafire, there's a lot of pressure right now. That's going to be it for D69. And, you know, something I'm just really noticing about Stone Keep now is there's a lot of safe areas to find, like pickups, like key picks before, and it's so close already. Just under that archway, you have another maybe 5 to 10 seconds of uncontested payload push to conversion there, and there's so many rooms. PERDO is finding kills as Buck in these tiny little rooms there, and there's just nothing really that Interlopers can do to try and stop that. They have to fight into these rooms and get in close quarters with the Buck.
That's why, you know, I think Drogoz is a very good pickup on this map as well, because there are a lot of small rooms when that close fighting, you know, comes forward, and it will. He could use that fire spit and really just get so much value from it, especially since the way these teams like to clump up now going forward as a group. That upper balcony fight is all Drogoz's team if he's able to just land it for a couple of rockets. So let's take a look at the scoreboard, see how much damage Drogoz and the rest of D69 did. And right there, you could see the numbers. bugzy leading everyone with 39,000 damage. Died 3 times, unlike Shipa, who didn't die at all as the Ruckus.
Top damage in the game, though, Spunkki's Shaolin. So shout out to that. Very solid play coming out from him. He was the support player for Burrito, but showing that that's not all he can do. That, you know, maybe that he didn't get the chance to show very often on Burrito, as opposed to someone like Bird, who did get to play those carry roles as well as the support roles, but really stepping up to the plate here is Spunkki on the Shaolin. But yeah, just getting so behind, I think, in the credit department, and you see 320 credits earned for skillganon. That's 1 item.
Yeah, that's a lot, and that can make all the difference, right? Just having that Wrecker means you take down that shield, those shields that much faster. You don't have to worry about Wrecker or Haven this round. You could have both. You know, those types of things make it
too.
big.
I mean,
Cauterize as well.
Almost 60,000 healing in a 9-minute game.
That's quite impressive.
That's where it's gonna start to hurt. When you don't get those Cauterize online, we saw Burrito always picking up a lot of Cauterize, you know, almost no matter what, because they did play against Maldamba in all of their games. Skitlight had that in every single game. So just shutting down, Maldamba can pump out just copious amounts of healing anywhere on the map, so he's good to heal PERDO no matter where he is. bugzy in the sky, everyone is taken care of at all stages in the game, and it's very dangerous to let fly like that.
Well, let's see what they let fly and where, actually, they let it fly. The maps coming up for Game 2. Serpent Beach will be the selection again, so like the first set we saw, they will opt for this map second and see if they could change their fate. Interlopers looking to get a win, get a point now as well. It seems like the top 2 teams in Europe have come up to play here. And will Interlopers be the squad that kind of says, hey, we're that clear 3rd place. We're that clear, you know, contester, right? It's not going to be the same as last season where these top 2 juggernauts just fight each other and see who's best. We are really here to make a claim that we should be in those finals.
Yeah. Definitely.
You're going to have a lot to do.
And they have a lot of talent on the team. It's just about coming together, meshing, figuring out the draft as well. District69 and PERDO have been drafting against each other for so long.
Yeah.
That I think there's kind of a distinct advantage for those two.
Yeah.
They've been in the scene for so long. There's a lot of mentality, I think, going into this where teams are scared of these veteran teams, or at least respecting them maybe a little bit too much in some cases. There's a lot of good players on these teams that, PERDO's got just as much HP as you do. You just got to play it right.
That's right. That's right. You got to get yourself in the right position. So will they do it to start the game by taking the correct champions? The draft is here. It's now for Game 2 on Serpent Beach. D69 versus Interlopers. And D69 have the first pick given to them again.
Koa, probably going to be the answer. Interlopers here. We saw the big adjustments come out from Skitlight in the previous series. Can Interlopers make adjustments? No Eevee in that last game. I expect that we'll see that Maldamba. I think that's a good takeaway from gerrah. Definitely here. Shaolin might be the choice as well, but then they do give up the Fernando to District69, a team that does like to run double frontliner.
That's the problem. I think most people are kind of crippled in taking Fernando here because of the fact that if you give Makoa and Fernando up, you're then left with Torvald, Ruckus, or Barrick, which I don't think a lot of, especially the European teams, are very comfortable, and I think even North American teams are very comfortable, having as their solo front line. And so Makoa and Fernando really going toe-to-toe here as well. Makoa being favored because of his offensive capabilities as well as his tankiness and pacemaker there for the fights. And Shaolin and Drogos selected to go in tandem with him.
And do Interlopers even pick up Ruckus at this point, because Shaolin and Drogos are so effective at dealing with double frontliner? I don't know that would be the answer. I like going into the Cassie here. Maybe taking away the Eevee as well could be a decent look at getting into the back line, but they are going to go for that Ruckus.
Yeah, and again, Cassie, I think now at least deals with the Drogos a little bit better. I think that Ruckus as well can help with the anti-air. He's got quite a lot of damage that he could put out very quickly into very different spaces, and he's somebody that can deal with the Drogos. But here's the Eevee that is selected, Nick. This is one of the first times we've seen Eevee today. Not a very high prioritized pick now in EU when she used to be #1.
Yeah, and it kind of takes off. Interlopers could have gone for a Kanessa without any flank pressure, but with Eevee on the table, with Shipa's Eevee no less on the board, that is unwise to do so. But Androxus will be the selection here to round out Interlopers. I mean, both the compositions, they're both good compositions for sure. It's just going to come down to execution. Not a lot of, eLvenpath specifically, if he's on this Makoa, and he will be, isn't Makoa's solo frontline can be kind of tough to pull off. His shield's only got 6,000 HP. eLvenpath doesn't really play the frontliners as kind of, I'm going to sit here and hold the point down and protect everyone. He runs around, he's looking to frag. So it'll be interesting to see how District69 operates, given that PERDO will be on Shaolin, Shipa on Eevee, Elvin on Makoa, and gerrah on Ying, and bugzy on Drogos.
Creatives on the side of Interlopers on Cassie, strutzul on Ruckus, spunkki on Androxus, unbelievable on Fernando, and skillganon on Maldamba with the Chrono selection, trying to get those abilities up that much faster. And all of a sudden, Nick, you can see PERDO, eLvenpath, bugzy, they want to destroy the shields, yet Interlopers have no care in the world about the shields going on. They want to get rid of the healing that is going to be on the side of D69.
And gerrah, the only cauterize on District69, it's frankly just not going to be enough to shut down skillganon's healing if he's landing those mending spirits every time. First blood is going to go over to Interlopers. Spunkki finds Shipa.
That's huge. eLvenpath with this lineup knew that he and his team wanted to get off a pick, and they've got clear point control. The Makoa sitting there with the Fernando, he's going to have to do this, and look at that. If they follow up on the kill, that is what's up. But Ruckus stays alive. gerrah takes down Spunkki, which is huge, but Creatives now in the back line. Nice dodge roll. Gets the flash shot as well. Last shot, even though the planet is there, is able to win that duel. Not often do we see somebody face off against Shaolin's planet and live to tell the tale. But there it is. Ooh. It looks like Creatives, he died, but just didn't die at the same time that we thought he would.
Really nice combo there from eLvenpath. Shipa getting up onto the high ground. needs to get something done. Lost the 1v1 to Spunkki in the last round. Bugzy's there to punch that kill through. Now onto the Maldama. This is where things start to get hairy for Interlopers.
This is a huge play by Shipa as well. They cannot control this Winter Rich right now, and she's looking to finish off the Fernando. No fear in her heart, and now the incredibly aggressive zone will begin, and that is where they excel with this type of lineup. Eevee's so good at doing that, and the objective is capture, despite Interlopers having, I think, a clear objective fight advantage in that one.
I agree. I thought Interlopers had that done and dusted there. The fight was won when Interlopers was already at about 27 to 30% on the capture point there, and taking down Shipa's Eevee. Spunkki winning that 1v1 against Shipa's Eevee was so clutch. You saw what he was able to do in the second team fight, so that's going to be, I think, the clear, important pickup for Interlopers. If they can take down Shipa, a lot of these fights are going to be a lot easier for them, especially looking at in the back line. Cassie won't be under pressure as much. Maldamba won't be under as much pressure here, so big pickup there from Spunkki.
Bugzy as well, just showcasing his masterclass on Drogos, one of the champions he's been known to love in this community for so long. And Drogos getting some new buffs in the next patch as well, some adjustments to his salvo. That'll come as good news to him, but Bugzy, he doesn't need anything except the Dragon Punch, the one-hit kill, and can you blame him? Takes down all of your HP in one swift move, and he's using those rockets as well to add damage. Nice direct hit onto the Cassie, and up in the air, Bugzy takes down Androxus. See you later, pal. And this should be just one more for the cake.
I mean, it's highly telegraphed, a cursed arm there, but Spunkki didn't have a lot of other choices available to him. Just rocket after rocket, you know, that's so much burst damage, eating a direct impact shot from Eevee and Drogos at the same time. It's just difficult to deal with. I'm not mad at Spunkki for that play. I think he was, he kind of forced his hand a little bit. That's the only answer he potentially would have had. But unfortunately, it did take the accursed arm charge, so he will not have that going into this round. District69 going to be a little bit ahead in terms of the net worth here. Record 2's online. PERDO elects to go into the Haven here, so he doesn't get blasted by Spunkki or Creatives. He can win that 1v1 a little bit more easily here. A nice little split between Haven and Blast Shields coming out from Interlopers. Unbelievable, the only one not going for a defensive option just yet.
I like master riding on strutzul and Unbelievable here. It tells me they're both just going to get to the point, or they're both looking to flank. I'm not exactly sure which one is it. I would assume they have the point advantage.
Probably.
Let's just make sure that we get there and faster than we need to. But there's Unbelievable on the upper ledge. Very surprising to me. And Androxus is the one who finds himself in the center of the battlefield. Bugzy looking to land one more of those clutch mid-air rockets, which is not easy to do. And there, finally, Unbelievable goes to the point, but not at his own need. He gets taken down, and now he's going to find actually the kill on PERDO, which is fantastic for him. A huge Ancient Rage from eLvenpath, and Shipa will help to clean up this entire fight.
He does actually go down. They find their way through all 10,000 of that HP. Spunkki bringing 2 down with him, but gerrah able to come out on top of that in the end. That was a huge Ice Storm runner with the little bicycle emote there. eLvenpath actually hooked a 3rd kill back into the Ice Storm, so a huge counterplay. Had they cleaned up eLvenpath off the back of that Dread Serpent, that would have been an extremely different fight there. So just finding the low health targets, making sure you confirm kills is going to be a huge part of Interlopers coming back into this one.
Oh, and they got Spunkki as well. Bugzy looks for the Dragon Punch, but he looks to take out the carry. No, the tanks can't do too much to him. He's getting out DPS this Ruckus. He said, bad time to reload, dude! And so he does not get the kill onto Bugzy. He's going to float up into the upper ledge of this map, and Serpent Beach will be his for a moment. And that moment will extend a little bit longer as he slays Creatives and helps eLvenpath to avoid any pressure coming out from Spunkki with the Fire Spit and some nice downward-facing projectiles.
I mean, that was such a close fight. I really think eLvenpath staying alive, coming back in with the Ancient Rage, buying a lot of time and mitigation was the key to District69 coming back into that one here, and now just cleaning up kills, keeping the Snowball alive. Snowball has been the name of the game here today. Every map so far has been a 4-0.
And there's just no execution, unfortunately, of these plans that these teams are having, but I do love the way that they're making these kind of decisions to say, let's grab master riding, let's do something with a synergy approach to be able to figure this out. But look at the record 2 coming from Makoa. Even he's losing the trade. Is doing 1,600 damage to Ruckus, but he will lose the trade the farther and farther that gets as Makoa's drop-off starts to take off. And Ruckus, of course, keeps just doing that constant strong DPS.
And Spunkki was narrowly, it was interesting, he had the hook available to him that guaranteed Teeth could have cleaned spunkki up, but it looks like he just let him go, maybe thinking that his team, he had confidence in his team to clean that up. spunkki doesn't die, goes on to kill 2 members of District69. This puts eLvenpath way out of position.
Yeah.
He got cleaned up, and as a result, District69 lose that fight handily, and Interlopers find themselves back strong on footing here for the defense.
There's a minute left on the clock. Interlopers looking to stave off
Well, they were on strong
D69 for a
footing.
moment. They were on strong footing until bugzy appeared, and he's going to take down Unbelievable with an unbelievable play. Only 13 health to his name as he took down the Spaniard, and now he will help his team to move forward with 42 seconds left on the clock. Nick, this could be a conversion if they play this one right, and it looks like so far they have.
Heat Haze still available. PERDO doesn't find the shot onto spunkki. spunkki extremely low. He's going to be very important to the continuation of this fight. Taken out of the sky. Hexfire comes out. District69 just hang back for a moment, letting that one expire here. Planet is now off cooldown. It's stunned into the wall, but the payload gets in the way.
Wanted to get over his head. He actually has the Immortal come through to save his life for just a little bit longer, but D69 eventually will taste the sweet, sweet flavor of victory. And against Interlopers, nonetheless, 2-0 goes the score. And again, no team has been able to take a game off of the European final winners or finalists from the Paladins Invitational yet. And it's game 3. It's all or nothing. Can they bring themselves back into it, Nick? Or is D69 going to clean sweep this one? I'm thinking this could easily be a sweep again.
Yeah, definitely, but they're still drafting well, I think, and it's just coming down to not capitalizing on these low HP targets, letting them get away, and then coming back. Every time that happens, either way, when District69 let spunkki escape with very low health into the backline, he got out of combat, healed up, found 2 kills, and they won a fight. Capitalizing on every single kill, every time you poke somebody out, finding the kill in the backline is so important to them not coming back to haunt you. So many fights are decided by a single shot or a single ability.
And you saw that those abilities just went in the favor of D69 today. Let's take a look at the scoreboard, see exactly how that all transpired in terms of the statistics of the day. A lot of damage coming out from D69 and a lot of healing as well, but kind of matched there by skillganon. Not really a discrepancy in healing here, but the big theme we see is just Ying playing such a big role with securing the objective and staying alive.
Absolutely, and you mentioned how much cauterize we saw the Interlopers go into, and still gerrah is able to beat out Maldamba's healing in this case. In District69, they were picking up records. You know, they were punching through the shields as opposed to the anti-healing there, so not able to get as much healing done. Given that fact, is crazy to me, skillganon. Maybe it's just as a factor of his teammates were falling that much quicker, the fights weren't being super extended. D69 definitely in favor of poking out from range. They didn't have to put themselves in a very difficult situation there to find their kills.
And we're not just seeing PERDO on Androxus either. We're seeing him on Buck. We're seeing PERDO on Shaolin. We're seeing a lot of different adjustments from this team, which I like seeing in terms of some of the variants, some of the drafting. Of course, new damage champions, new champions in general are coming out basically every couple of weeks here. So these players, despite having mastered the current champion list of gods, or of champions, excuse me, are going to really have to continue that as these new flankers, Maeve just being introduced, start to grace us in the realm.
Yeah, but I think the flexibility on these top-tier rosters is why they are top-tier rosters. Burrito and District69 have that flexibility to be able to play anything, projectile, hit scan, whatever you need to throw at them, which gives them so much space to create the draft, and the draft phase is so important in Paladins, and being able to win that because of your flexibility, because of the space that you're able to draft with is a really, really good look for these top-tier rosters.
Let's take a look at the map for game number 3 between D69 and the Interlopers. It will be on Frozen Guard, so we will take our sweaters with us. I sure will. I don't do well with the extreme cold, and so we'll watch this game on one of the ice maps in Paladins, and you can expect to see a lot of the same familiar faces. They do well on this map that you just saw. And Nick, what does this kind of tell you for, potentially the last game for Interlopers, what they're going to look to grab?
So Frozen Guard is a little bit more on the extremes of the spectrum in terms of the map. There's a lot of lines of sight we saw. I think most notably Abyss playing super well on this map at HRX, utilizing Grover, Kinessa, Shaolin. Those were huge pickups here. It's almost become the Timbermill-esque map because Timbermill is always banned. So this is kind of the next closest thing in terms of just sheer line of sight distance to this point. But inside of the point, it's fairly closed in, so Drogos definitely another big contested pick here.
And let's not forget about Abyss's Josh Kent playing that Eevee. He was a big reason they had all that space and those lines of sight to work with. Let's see if they could pick up a similar type lineup, go with maybe a Kinessa, but take an Eevee with them. Interlopers need something. They need a prayer. So chat, give them your energy if you want Interlopers to possibly take a game against D69. They're going to need it. And as the draft continues, it is again first pick Makoa for D69.
So with 2 picks on the board here, I expect a Shaolin. Maldamba, Shaolin or Maldamba, I think has to be the answer here. I mean, Maldamba wasn't super great for them. They're going to go for the Drogos. If they play it well, this is a great takeaway.
Oh man, I mean, the fire spit in the middle of the room that you're fighting in for the objective, that does a ton of damage. You can actually jump up with the thrusters and get above everyone in that area.
Yeah, and just own that zone.
Yeah, very tight space to try and kill him in. He could do a lot of damage here, as you said.
And that's the biggest weakness of Drogos is once he gets up into the sky, he's vulnerable to the Shaolins, the Kinessas. But the way the point is structured on Frozen Guard, it's basically like a little castle with an igloo dome type thing up top. So Drogos can just fly around in that dome, perfectly safe up in the skies to just rain down damage, heavy damage onto those frontliners. I like the takeaway from Interlopers.
Cassie going to be selected as well. Good thing. She could do, you know, she's essentially that fast projectile like Shaolin to where she almost feels like Hitscan. And again, the Eevee taken here. This could open up some room for Kinessa. But District69, maybe anticipating that, could grab a buck here.
They still need a healer, though.
Oh, and they actually grab the Kinessa here. So they actually grab the Kinessa towards Interlopers, even
Bugzy's
with Eevee being there. And
I think that'll be Bugzy on that Kinessa.
Kind of the considered counter. That's confidence.
That is a lot of confidence here. So I like the pivot, though, from District69. They see the Drogos pick up, and like, all right, we can't draft into something 2-point heavy, right? Because Drogos dominates this point with Fire Spit, was just staying above it. They want to just spread this fight out, you know, make Interlopers come to them. But Interlopers going with the Grover, taking the page out of Abyss's book.
I like it.
We'll have the long-range denial, I think. You know, one long-range axe that hits Kinessa for 8 to 1100 damage, you know, that's easy pickings for Eevee at that point.
Oh man,
that's free low.
And that also means that you know, Kinessa's gonna have to be more wary. She's not gonna be as aggressive onto the point looking for snipes. She's gonna think more defensively at that point. Maybe it'll just make her waste some time in transport.
I love this draft coming out from Interlopers. Creative on Cassie, skillganon on Drogo, spunkki on Eevee, strutzul on Grover, and unbelievable on Fernando.
PERDO on his famous Androxus. This is not something you want to mess with. Gerrah on Maldamba, Shipa on Shaolin, eLvenpath on Makoa, and Bugzy on Kinessa, the captain of D69, back and in action for a squad.
So drafted 100% into Haven mitigated champions. District69 has, so 4 Havens. Unsurprising from Interlopers. Cauterize only on unbelievable. Very good pickup for Fernando. 2 Master Ridings now, 1 for Elven, 1 for Bugzy. Bugzy needs to get to his spot. He needs to be safe. Does eLvenpath stay with Bugzy, though, and provide peel? It doesn't look like that's going to be the case as he heads straight into the back line.
That looks like already a wormhole attempt at PERDO. Thanks to the
Hitting
hook from
Grover
eLvenpath.
headshots is so hard. That's insane.
Yeah, and
from behind.
And he does it so efficiently and on command after the hook is there from eLvenpath. It's perfect synergy for both of these teammates to be able to push back any attempt Interlopers had, and now without any healer, they've got no sustain, so they're going to pull themselves back away from this fight, and PERDO again will collapse off of a great hook by eLvenpath. eLvenpath just serving him on a plate to Androxus.
The PERDO is blowing my mind right now. Headshots and Paladins are hard enough, but a headshot on Grover from behind, or like side behind, that's just so there's so much in the way of that. Yeah. They're like, you can't even see his head because there's so many like snow bushes and leaves in the way. That's
too much bush to be able to see, man.
Insane. District69 with the first capture here, going up 1-0. Not a toe stepped on the point for Interlopers here, and it's not as if Interlopers comp is going to start to do better and better into the late game here. So they're going to have to figure out, this is just pure, like, they need to execute. They need to find shots on District69 to take them out.
This is the stereotypical Makoa play, right? And this is exactly what you want with your teammates. If you're going to write a guide on Makoa, you would say, after he hooks, you know, teammates follow up and just shoot that one person, and it's immediately a 4v5. That's exactly what D69 have been doing, and that is why they've been successful. If they get rid of the Makoa hooks onto the clutch targets, though, Nick, Interlopers, they may still stand a chance here.
Ooh, and in a rough spot right now is skillganon here. He's going to be taken down. He's got nowhere to fly. eLvenpath definitely going to win that fight 10 times out of 10. PERDO falling low. Mending Spirit's going to miss here. Going to keep eLvenpath healthy, but we're rolling here. A minute 30 seconds remaining as we head under the final arch for conversion here for District69. Unbelievable. Has returned to the point, but Dread Serpent is available here and picked off very early is Unbe.
Great plays by gerrah as well. Just constantly swiveling his head, knowing that he's got to hit the Mending Spirits, and then going right back to damage. That's what could showcase a fantastic Maldamba, but there it is, a fantastic push, a fantastic cannon at the end of that round. 2-0 again, 3 minutes only gone by, and ultimates across the board for D69 are available, and man, this is looking bad for Interlopers.
Blast Shields, the name of the game for everyone except eLvenpath. PERDO with the Master riding as well. I mean, just similar to Icemine's Frozen Guard is a very long way from spawn to point, from spawn to spawn here. So the Master ridings giving you not only the opportunity to play aggressive and just get back sooner should you die here, but able to reinforce so much quicker is going to be very clutch. A life rip as well here as Interlopers are just struggling to get their cauterized ones online.
I love it with bugzy too, being able to get to that position as Kinessa so much more effectively. If you get Master Riding 1, you can actually jump over from your spawn to that ledge. Misses the hook though. This is huge. eLvenpath is unfortunately done something that really, you know, was not what his team needed there. Now this is more of an even battle. They're going to have to win this off skill, but they've got plenty of it. PERDO is going to come and get 2 takedowns. skillganon and spunkki, the Eevee and Drogos respectively. And now eLvenpath, though he misses another hook, has done so much for his team in just helping to zone out and keep the pressure on. And the threat of a hook, Nick, alive.
That's District 6. Elvin goes essentially 0 for 3 because that last hook didn't really do anything to clean up that kill. That guy, Unbelievable, was dead to rights at that point. And District 69 still just slaughter in that fight. PERDO and Shipa.
How is he keeping track of? Oh my God!
PERDO's like,
how is he keeping track of him in the air?
He was sent from the heavens to play Androxus.
Or was he sent from hell? I don't know.
He was sent up to hell. He was a demon.
A fallen angel sent from heaven and then descended into hell. It's like one of those plot lines that don't make any sense, but you're like, all right, I'll deal with it. Cool action scenes. Here goes Makoa. He's looking to find one more hook onto Fernando. There it is, the nice shot, guaranteeing the extra bonus damage, and that will do it for this push. It looks like there's really nowhere for Interlopers to hide. It almost seems like they're trying to run away from these fights, just stave off D69's aggression, but they are not stopping whatsoever. Eevee almost losing this battle between Makoa, and he's going to try and run back to safety, looking for a hook here to just stall some time and do some damage.
Unbelievable on his case. gerrah getting those Mending Spirits off on eLvenpath. Will it be enough here? He's going to live.
Why is no one shooting eLvenpath? Why did no one just shoot him? Like,
I don't know.
Grover was there as well. He was fighting someone else. Just kill the tank, and then you have a chance. But they can't with that front line. And PERDO, admittedly, is just causing them so much ruckus that they just could not ignore him.
That was a very eLvenpath play, right? That Dragon Punch going to land and take him down. Against PERDO, that gets punished. 10 times, 11 times out of 10, that will get punished. That is a flaw, though, that I think that's a big overextension there that just didn't get punished.
That headshot, though, by PERDO to take down skillganon. He was running at him just like, yo, man, I think I can win this. No, never mind. It's not going to happen this time. And PERDO, he makes you think you can win it, and then all of a sudden, a couple headshots in a row changes the game. I wonder if there's going to be something that improves Androxus headshots in the future. That would be really scary to see on this man here. And there's the Headhunter.
Well.
Headhunter comes out. She's looking for 2. Can he get one more? Gets Grover in the head, but spring has come and will save the life of the young tree for just a moment. So the pastor, the savior of the Church of Grover.
Okay, there's a miss.
Will stay alive for just a moment, but not long enough to keep his team in this battle. It's just looking like the PERDO show.
Jeez, Immortal will come out, canceling out most all of that accursed arm. Will be mitigated by Immortal. Does it matter? You be the judge.
I mean, is PERDO gonna
literally not missing shots right now? Wow, this is a show. This is an absolute show right now. Grover gonna try to do what he can.
And that's the PERDO show.
Who else but PERDO? District 69 take it 3-0. Don't drop a point. think all sub-10 win dominant, just as Burrito here. So not much to be anticipated on. What's right in there, champ?
PERDO's good.
Good. That's caster note right there.
Good.
District69.
Bring that.
These are his notes.
Again.
Bugzy. PERDO is good. Kills.
Synergy stats. It's pretty good. That's how I do it, man.
That's notes. So speaking of stats though, Bugzy getting a lot done. I think with the Knessa, we didn't call his name out a lot, but we saw when we flipped to him, farming damage. We'll see just how much as we head over to the scoreboard here, and that's the name of the game for Knessa. She was under zero pressure this whole game, despite the Eevee being on the team. Only one death, 37,000 damage, but PERDO getting it done, 51,000 for that Androxus.
That's a really good play, and just as I was kind of commenting as well on gerrah's excellent performance and kind of multitasking, doing damage and healing, he actually comes in with a kind of rare under 10k damage, although it was admittedly they won the game so fast.
He was on the point, just like
they won the game so fast.
You're right.
You're right. I mean, he was healing from afar. 52,000 healing is incredible, and 193 objective time. I mean, that's been the case of these games, really. It's been the healers that have been just sitting on the point that they haven't had a chance to deal with.
Nobody got close enough to gerrah for him to do any damage. You saw PERDO and eLvenpath in the base, just zoning out, taking fights 2v5, staying alive by some miracle. eLvenpath got out of there alive, but just dominant performance all the way through here. But the title fight is going to happen again. District69 and Burrito. Nothing has changed just yet. We will see these two juggernauts clashing again in the finals here in week 1 of the Paladins Open Qualifiers.
And here's the brackets if you want to just see exactly how it all turned out today, and you can see
only one non-sweep in the round of 16 today.
Yeah, and teams that unfortunately we weren't even aware of now here, and not being able to get shown. Interlopers were the ones to defeat the winning team from that 2-1 E2N, and of course they met their demise against D69. Burrito did the same against Skitlight, and now Burrito and District69 will face off against each other in the finals of this first week of Europe's Open Qualifiers, and a lot on the line.
And it's the big thing here for Skitlight and Interlopers is not to get discouraged. We saw good adjustments coming out, I think, from both teams, but you know, keeping your foot on the gas here and making it to the semifinals and maybe taking games off, just showing progress against Burrito and District69 is the name of it. The more you get here, the more practice you get against these teams. That's why District69 and Burrito take games off each other. They play each other all the time. They're drafting against each other all the time. They know how they play. So the more that these teams are making it to the semifinals, playing against D69 and Burrito, the quicker that gap is going to close.
And that's what they're all looking for. Congratulations to all the teams who have made it this far. It's time for the Juggernauts of EU to face off against each other and see which one will take home today's prize. We know Burrito got the better end of that stick last time, but now seems like D69 have a chance with their captain in their squad ready to play to avenge that loss. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the finals. Burrito versus D69 coming at you.